approach that pain and not necessarily even see it as a positive thing. Not say, oh, my joints really hurt, but it's great. But to be able to look at it objectively, not judge it, and just be able to accept it. And I think that has helped an awful lot of people.
That is how people are able to, well, not that, but part of it is that how people are able to walk and not fall.
Yeah.
It's simply
not running.
Meditational skills and learning our mind over matter over the pain. Of course, it's the same with, I haven't got any children, but those of you who have, you know that there are techniques out there that can help you having children almost painless and without the use of any drugs. So, Henry, no, you wouldn't.
No, but, you know, I read a book, I think his name is Dr. Sarno, and he says if you have chronic pain that should have healed, but for some reason you still have it and it's years later, a lot of times it's psychological, where we're not letting go of what's bothering you deep down inside. It could be an anger from years and years ago, and your cells just have this memory of it, and you're not letting it go, and he talks you through how to
Well, I'm
release
thinking
it.
of, after this today, I'm thinking that perhaps I should, in the new year, of course, because we're now near November and we've already booked up for that, to do something with the thought forms and tarot and perhaps meditation in the meet. I'll have to think something up, but it's something that keeps coming up one way or another. So perhaps working how the tarot can influence us, how our thoughts can influence tarot, how our thoughts can influence life. It's a subject I really like, so perhaps to think about it in the new year, and how to do it. Other than that, if no one has anything else to add, thank you for this.
The only thing that I would add, just quickly for the sake of people on YouTube, is that it's all very well as a reader to go, oh, you got the tower, but you got to let go, you got to accept it. We are not counsellors. Unless you are a counsellor, in which case, great. If you're not a counsellor, to just be very, very wary of giving, well, it's not even so much giving advice, but making things seem more simple than they are. Because sometimes we can look at the tower and we've learnt all the meanings, we've done the little white books, we've done the meetups, we've done practice readings. We know what it means, but we don't know what it means for that person. So, you know, you can say, let go, it will be okay, don't worry about it. It's like saying it will be all right in the end. But if, like for me, it's taken 10 months and that person comes for a reading, they're going to get that expectation, oh, when is it going to get better, when is it going to get better, and that's going to make it worse. So I think not so much for who we've got here, but in general.
Yeah, because it is a bit unsettling. Like you sort of call it, you're sort of neutralising it to me, whereas to me it's a very unsettling card, and you know something big is going to change. Something is going to.
So you're saying like don't put your own perspective of that card.
I think it's just to not trivialise it.
Then again, I find a lot of professional counsellors, they overcomplicate things.
Sometimes they do.
And sometimes like when people, all they need is to hear that, okay, things will be okay, and just to relax them. And
I think
it depends on the individual.
Yeah, it does. It depends on the individual, the person's history, the person's whether they actually have a mental health problem.
If it's a clinical thing, then definitely see. If it's a
normal, don't go there. You know, as a tarot reader, don't go there.
But if it's a normal everyday thing, where
But it's not. Even then, be careful, because what is normally non-effective for you could be a disaster for me. What might not upset you too much might send me into a panic. We're all different.
But
we're all different perceptions.
That's kind of the point, in a sense, that you see how other people react less than what you find it's a big deal, and then you say, okay, maybe it's not such a big deal, and I think that's where it kind of helps.
Maybe, but if that person is a friend, then they can come to you and say, well, hey, you know, this has happened to me, blah, blah, and it's cool.
Yeah.
But it depends. I mean, for some people, you can make 1,000 examples. It's like we're all so different. You were talking about single earlier. Some people are perfectly happy being single. Some people don't even think about existing without a boyfriend. And I know one of them, and it's just like she'd get anything, just not to be single. And that that might be a self-esteem issue, not the tarot one, but for her that's a very important issue. For you, it isn't.
Yeah.
So it's perception. It really depends.
Yeah.
So be careful. I agree with that, and also saying that it can take time, and that it won't be.
But
I just thought,
for example, you were leaving. If somebody shows you a way out, that there might be an option that the situation is not that dramatic as you yourself see it. Not that playing down the problems, but simply showing a sensitive way to proceed, which might help to solve the problem or to make the suffering less.
Yeah.
So I think, especially if somebody reacts shocked on a tower, I think this might be a good option to say, okay, might be painful, but might be this option. Let's take another card. Hopefully not a 10 of Swords, or maybe
for me, I pulled the Tower. I was like, oh right, I need a clarifier. I pulled another card, the 3 of Swords. Oh great, I need another clarifier. Death. I'm like, right. Thank you very much.
I remember that one. That was like.
I have, and it's great, but it's like 10 months later, so it's like.
I remember that one, and that was like, you know what? Stop asking me. He told me this deck is quite blunt, and he told me off the other day. I kept asking the same question, silly me, because I shouldn't. And then he came out with some dreadful cards, but the cards weren't dreadful meaning for me. It just spelled make up your mind, get on with it, or bugger off. And it was so direct, and I was like, okay, put it in the bag. But yeah, jokes aside, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Jane is gonna give